This is an Audio Wool original.
This episode of Frightday is brought to you by Gates of Hell Chipotle Hot Sauce by Frightday. Bold chipotle flavor blended with habanero peppers for just the right burn. Kissed with garlic and passion fruit. Zero human blood, like none at all. Visit shop.frightday.com before the first batch disappears.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. If you'd like to support us, go to patreon.com/frightday.
It is Frightday. I'm your host, Byron. And what's that? There's something rustling around in that bush over there.
Oh, God.
I see feathers, fur, spines, and teeth. That could be almost anything. Maybe even a chupacabra. Good thing I'm joined tonight by our resident cryptid expert and my best friend in the whole world, Captain Kelly. She'll help us get to the bottom of this in our first ever family-friendly episode as we talk family, innocence, and goat suckers, reviewing Jonas Cuaron's Chupa.
Chupa.
Oh, there's Kelly now.
Hi.
Where's your husband Sam?
Oh, he's busy charging his cattle prod.
Yeah,
That's good old Sam.
Yeah, sure is. Hello to all the new young listeners, the ones with cool parents with questionable judgment, but nonetheless.
No, good judgment.
Thanks so much for letting us into your ears. Family friendly.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. I'm not going to swear at all
Not
tonight.
a single swear.
Although there was a great episode about the science of swearing, but that's not
An
for
episode
tonight.
of what, our show?
Freakonomics.
Okay.
Yeah, your parents probably listen to that show. It's a good one.
Boring.
It's a real good one,
Sounds
guys.
really boring.
When you get to be like 14, you should listen to it.
Sure.
It's great.
Being scared is fun, Kelly.
It is fun.
It's kind of what the show is about.
Especially in a controlled environment, right?
Exactly.
Where you can get spooked and you know you're actually going to be safe.
That's kind of what we do here.
Well, and kind of like the movie tonight, sometimes things you think might be scary don't turn out to be as scary.
And some things that are meant to not be scary become scary, Kelly. I want to talk about some films that freaked me out when I was a kid.
Oh, when you were little. Okay.
Yeah, when I was just a little one.
Were these ones that like you were supposed to be watching, or were these movies that you
These are
snuck?
totally appropriate.
Totally
fine
appropriate.
to watch.
I bet E.T. scared the heck out of
Yes.
you, didn't it?
Okay, that's not on my list, but absolutely
Okay,
it did.
I bet
And
it did.
it actually is a lot like the film, that we watched tonight, Chupa.
In
So-
fact, you'll hear our guest reviewer discuss the similarities a little bit.
We have a guest reviewer coming up.
We
huh?
do.
You ever seen a little film? Starts out in black and white, then becomes color. It's called The Wizard of Oz.
Yep, I've seen it.
Uh-huh.
That one frightened you, huh?
Freaked me out.
What parts of it freaked you out? Like the transition from black and
No,
white to
that's
color?
fine. I
That
mean-
was okay
There's a little bit of unceremonious death and loss.
in the movie.
Yeah, and that's
Yep.
not great.
No, not great.
And then, I mean, there is a guy who gets so scared that he jumps through a plate glass window. I don't like that.
Plate glass window. He
Lionel.
does.
Or not Lionel. What's his
Just-
name? The Lion.
Just lion.
Sorry, I was
Yeah.
thinking about
Cowardly.
Wiz of the West.
Oh, Wiz of the West is a
which
great
is
one too.
A play version.
Okay, so now we were talking about three different versions, Byron.
Yeah.
We've got our local children's theater production.
Of course. You're talking about
adaptation
The
was
Wiz, not-
The Wiz of the West. And then The Wiz is
Just different.
the musical that was
More diverse.
much more diverse. It was an entirely black cast, which was very cool.
Yeah.
And then we've got Wizard of Oz, the original with...
Did that not scare you?
No. It didn't scare me. I really liked it. People talked about being a little worried about the monkeys in it. The
Yeah,
flying
monkeys are scary.
I thought they were pretty cool.
Witch melting. Spoiler alert.
You cursed rat! Look what you've done!
Oh yeah, spoiler.
I know you're not supposed to like witches, but I also don't want to see them melt on camera.
Yeah.
It's
Our
not great.
my daughter, who spoiler alert, is helping us review the movie tonight.
Sure. Yeah.
She's always a little bit distraught when the quote-unquote bad guys are hurt as well, because she thinks that bad guys are just good guys that haven't had a chance to be good yet.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
The Scarecrow gets his entire body ripped open.
Now, that part was sad to me. It
Yeah.
didn't scare me. It was just sad.
Well, what happened to you? They tore my legs off and they threw them over there. Then they took my chest out and they threw it over there. Well, that's you all over. They sure knocked the stuffings out.
Oh, I think it's pretty intense. But along the same lines, Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka was weird. The what was the scary guy's name that was the trickster?
Willy Wonka was the
no,
scary
the scary, like the spy guy. It starts with an S, but he was very frightening. He was the only part that scared me in that movie. Other than that, it was okay.
It's not called Willy Wonka. It's called
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I think it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
The movie is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is
the
the book.
book.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
Of
Factory
course.
is the movie, because for some reason Gene Wilder had to be front and center rather
Well, he
than
was.
the child actor whose name nobody remembers.
Well, that's not true. Charlie Bucket, played by Peter Ostrom.
Yeah, you remember that, huh? Mm-hmm. Oh, right off the top of your old head.
Mr. Turkentine?
No,
That
it's
doesn't seem
something
right.
worth. It's Smogsworth.
May I introduce myself? Arthur Slugworth, president of Slugworth Chocolates Incorporated.
Slugworth.
There we go.
Arthur Slugworth.
Yeah, he was the one that freaked me out a little bit.
Oh, I mean, the way that these children just keep going missing throughout the adventure, I don't like that.
I kind of like the message that
If you're bad,
if you're bad, well, you just go away. Who's to say?
I don't know if I
Really?
like that.
No, I don't think that that's probably very mentally healthy.
Yeah.
But,
Does anything come to mind?
you know, the movies that scared me when I was little were mostly movies I shouldn't have been watching, like The Haunting.
Sure. That's
Although
an actual horror film.
It is an
there.
actual
Yeah.
horror film, but it is rated PG. So
That was
I mean,
just
it's
because there was
safe.
a time before PG-13.
It's true. It's true. You know, E.T. freaked me out, but it was more because I thought it was mean that E.T. was leaving his friend Elliot.
Okay.
That bothered me.
How do you feel about the hyenas from The Lion King?
The hyenas did not bother me an ounce, but Scar and the horrific scene, that really traumatized me.
Sure.
That bothered me.
When I went under for a little surgery once when I was a
little
kid,
thing?
I had a dream that the doctors turned into the hyenas from Lion
That
King
is-
with medical masks over their face.
Kids out there, doctors are your friends.
They are.
You don't need to be afraid of them.
Not even a little.
No, thank goodness for them.
Of course, anything with puppets. It's just not my thing.
Oh, see, I loved puppets like Labyrinth. Oh,
No.
amazing.
Dark
It was
Crystal.
Great.
No thanks.
Dark Crystal was weird, but I didn't see it when I was little.
Yeah.
You know what? I just thought of one.
What?
Care Bears, the movie.
Camelot is a place we all can go.
Yeah, the Care Bear stare, which isn't even a stare. It's just a belly poking out.
Right. That didn't scare me, but there was a scary face in a book, and there was this scene with music, and it kept saying, "Look out! Look out! Look out! Look out! Look out! Look out! Look out!" That really frightened me. I still have that cycling in my brain.
I think there was an evil spirit, wasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, and he took over this magic book, and then this boy that wanted to become a magician,
It's called the Spirit.
yeah, he was kind of possessed by this evil thing.
Yeah. Wow.
It was very scary. Look out! Look out! Look out!
I would be curious to know the folks listening what they
Yeah.
experienced as a
Because there are some new ones that certainly have a little bit of spook to them. I know my girls really like this show on Disney called The Secret of Sulphur Springs.
Secret of Sulphur Springs.
And it's a pretty fun series, but the most recent season came out, and we watched a couple episodes, and we had to pause that and wait because we had a couple nights in a row of some pretty freaky nightmares.
Oh no, that's not good.
Oh, The Witches. That was a classic, right? The Witches was a really, really good one.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? It's just too adult.
I haven't not shown that one to my children.
Too surreal.
I'm much more troubled by Jessica's proportions than I am by the rest of it.
Okay,
That's not
that's fair.
something I'm ready to throw my kids into.
Yeah.
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Who made those films? All Dogs Go to Heaven and Brave Little Toaster both had some kind of intense themes, like dreadful
they did.
moments.
They did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. You're a mom, though.
I am a
Kelly.
mom.
You've experienced showing things to your little ones.
Most things they handle pretty darn well.
Can you think of times it went bad?
Well, they wouldn't let me show them The Abyss.
Okay,
I
that's
tried
probably
really
a
hard to talk
good
them
thing.
into it.
I'd say that's a good thing. Yeah.
Honestly, they're programmed frighteningly similarly to me. So as of now, we haven't had any terribly traumatic experiences. You know, I've shown them all my faves. Clifford, Chipmunk Adventure.
How do they feel about Clifford?
Love.
Okay.
They quote him all the time. Labyrinth. They love that one.
Scary. Okay.
You know what we're going to do this week?
What's that?
Our new one on the list to watch is That Thing You Do. That Tom Hanks movie.
That's not a scary movie at all. It's delightful.
Nope. It isn't.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you, Kelly.
Do you ever watch any movies with Oliver?
No.
Oliver is
we
his
watch
dog.
a lot of, yeah.
He's very sweet, and he has a very cute face, and he's in doggy training lessons right now, and he's learning some new things. He's really trying hard.
He's doing a wonderful job.
Very proud of him.
He gets all kinds of treats.
So many treats.
But it isn't all treats, Kelly. Sometimes we have to go to work.
Sometimes we do.
These VHS copies of Ernest Scared Stupid aren't going to put themselves away.
Classic.
It's time for staff picks.
They say so much, but they never tell you if it's any good.
Werewolf movie with E.T.'s mom in it.
The Howling, horror, straight ahead.
I don't know why I went with VHS all of a sudden.
I
Weird
don't know why you did
flip.
either.
I should have said Blu-ray.
The opposite. Yeah, very interesting.
I was 10 years old once, Kelly.
You were.
Back in 1996.
Okay.
And there was a film that came out 1 year before that, in 1995.
Okay.
And it was called Casper.
For 100 years, he has wandered the halls of Whipstaff Manor. Wow. Waiting for someone.
There's a girl on my bed. Yes. Hi.
Casper.
Can you go invisible? That one's easy.
Now, life at Whipstaff Manor
Can I keep you?
will never be the same.
Cool.
Ghosts can't hurt you.
Guess again, bone bag!
Ricci.
Casper is
Before she was a yellow jacket.
Casper is a kind young ghost who peacefully haunts a mansion in Friendship, Maine. When specialist James Harvey, played by Bill Pullman, arrives to communicate with Casper and his fellow spirits, he brings along his teenage daughter, Kat, played by Christina Ricci. Casper quickly falls in love with Kat, but their budding relationship is complicated not only by his transparent state, but also by his troublemaking apparition uncles and their mischievous antics.
Yep.
Welcome to Whipstaff Manor, folks.
That was the name of the manor. I
That's
definitely
right.
didn't remember that.
Friendly
It's
ghost,
impressive.
wonderful cast. Bill Pullman can do no wrong, except for when he was 21 and he was rehearsing for a play and he bumped his head and lost his sense of smell and the feeling in his left funny bone, Kelly.
Wait, that actually happened to him?
Sure did.
No kidding.
Yeah. Chauncey Lepardi. Does that ring a bell?
Chauncey does.
Mm-hmm. Plays Squints Palladorus. Is that his name? In The Sandlot.
Gosh, I haven't seen that one in forever.
Great film. Monty Python guy Eric Idle's also in this, and my first crush, Christina Ricci.
Oh, wow.
CG's not wonderful, but, you know, this film has a great place in my heart, not just because of the crush. It's wonderful. I think that if you haven't seen it, it's worth checking out. It's directed by a guy named Brad Silbering. He directed a series of unfortunate events, Land of the Lost in 2009. You lit up when I said series of unfortunate events.
I actually like those.
And of course, City of Angels.
You mean the Nicolas Cage rom-com?
Yeah, Don't Want the World.
I mean, it wasn't a rom-drom.
I think it's just a drom. Maybe even a straight rom.
It was pretty rommy.
Of course, Casper based on the Harvey Comics cartoon character Casper, and bonus points for the tagline, get an afterlife.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, very fun.
That's actually really, really
Have
good.
you seen this one?
Casper?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. In fact, we watched it with the kids, but we watched it, I think, 4 years ago.
Okay.
So they were real little. I think we need to circle back on it.
I mean, those spooky uncles. Unpleasant.
Yeah, a little unpleasant.
Yeah.
But pretty fun.
Pretty fun.
Mostly fun.
What would you like to recommend to folks today?
Well, you know, I'm actually going to give 2 warnings, and then I'm going to give a recommendation. Okay, so there are 2 movies I didn't see until I was older, and in retrospect, I will show my kids a lot, probably more than I should. These 2 are ones that I would really make sure your kids are either incredibly impervious to fear, or that they're older. One of them is called Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Spooky, yeah.
For every heart, there exists a wish.
You ever play the numbers, Mr. Holloway? Hey? Never take risks.
For every soul, there burns a desire.
Boy, you're something. Always was. Smells to me like we're gonna have visitors.
But never whisper your dreams, for someone might be listening.
Jonathan Pryce, Jason Robards, Diane Ladd, Pam Grier movie. 1983 came out the year I was born. I watched this when I was probably 10, and...
Villainous carnival owner named Mr. Dark preys upon unsuspecting Midwestern townsfolk by granting wishes, but for a price.
It's spooky. So
Yeah,
I think you
seems
should
like
keep
it.
that in mind as one that... And then one that came out on Netflix last year or the year before, I actually got really excited because it has Kristen Ritter in it, and I love her.
Yeah.
Night Books.
Eli Roth feature.
Really scary.
Really?
Like, too much. I actually screened it and kept my kids away from it because it was just really intense.
Is there any reason I should let you live?
I write scary stories.
I'm going to need a story every night. Or it's the last thing you'll ever do.
I thought it was very good, but I would say, maybe 12. Takes place in a weird apartment complex.
Yeah.
The different parts of it keep disappearing. It's rather unsettling.
Oh, I need to correct myself. This is not directed by Eli Roth. It's directed by David Yarvesky.
Okay, I was going to say, if it was Eli Roth, I'm surprised I liked it. I was just ignoring that because I was really worried.
Sure. No, David did some great stuff that we covered. We covered The Hive early on in the show, and then Brightburn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
Good
makes
stuff.
sense. Okay. So my actual recommendation, which I think gets a bad rap from some people, some parents feel like it's a little bit too morbid, and I'm not going to lie, it is a little bit morbid. It's called Paranorman.
Oh, fun.
Byron, you ever seen that one?
Nope. Soundtrack by John Bryan.
Yeah, it is a really interesting... I don't know. It's almost like a cartoon Sixth Sense without the spookiness. This little kid, Norman, he can see dead people. And he can have conversations with them. And he actually kind of likes most of them more than he likes the people in his town, because the people in his town aren't super kind.
Kind of like the film that we're going to talk about here later.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think it's a spectacular movie. People say that maybe it should be for older kids. As long as your child has some acknowledgement of the concept of death. I actually think it's a great flick. Anna Kendrick, Casey Affleck.
It's a good cast.
Yeah. Directed by Chris Butler and Sam Fell. I don't know those directors.
Sam fell on his butt and farted.
Yeah, well, I guess he did.
Family humor.
Chris Butler also directed Missing Link, which was a cartoon about Bigfoot.
Sure.
Loved it.
Link was the name of the Bigfoot.
And Kubo and the Two Strings, which is actually probably one of the best animated
One of the
movies
most
I've
beautiful
seen.
animated
It's
films.
incredible.
Never seen it, but
It's really great. Anyhow, Paranorman, check it out.
heard great things.
It'd be a good one for you to put on your Halloween list this year, B.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That and maybe Monster House.
It's so funny because I was debating between those two to recommend. Monster House has Buscemi in it.
Buscemi. Written by Dan Harmon.
Maybe. I think Oliver probably would enjoy both of those. You should put both of those on the list to watch with good old Ollie.
But before we close up this video shop here, I'd like to take a second and welcome and initiate a new member into the Frightday Society.
Is it a junior member or a regular
This
member?
is a full-fledged official member.
Official member.
Someone who paid annually last time. This time upgrading to the inner circle. I'd like to welcome again Phoenix C.
Wow. Such a cool name.
If you want to be like Phoenix, you can go to thefrighdaysociety.org. You can sign up. It's only $6.66 a month, and you get access to hundreds of additional pieces of bonus content, including Behind the Screams, which is our weekly bonus show. It's the show behind the show. I'm trying to think if there's anything fun and safe for other folks to... probably not.
I don't know, we've got some edited episodes. We should probably flag
the
those
first
ones.
10 are probably safe for everyone.
I don't know. I feel like my Nessie episode
Oh, maybe.
I bet that's a safe one.
I don't know.
Parents, we can't promise that, so screen it first, but I think it's close.
Not gonna lie, Kelly. You have a mouth like a sailor.
I do. You really should listen to that Freakonomics episode, though.
Okay. Before you bore everyone to sleep, Kelly.
A sign of intelligence.
I think it's time for us to review a film that just came out on Netflix called Chupa.
We hope you're enjoying your visit here this evening. Now, on with the show.
Chupa is a 2023 American fantasy adventure film directed by Jonas, Cuaron, starring Damien Boucher and Christian Slater. I think I said all that right.
Close enough, I think.
Thanks. While visiting family in Mexico, a lonely boy befriends a mythical creature hiding on his grandfather's ranch and embarks on an adventure of a lifetime. And as you spoiled earlier in the episode, Kelly, this is going to be a different kind of review. Different than any one that we've ever done.
It is, actually. First of its kind.
Earlier this week, we had a special guest on the show. It's no surprise. It's your youngest daughter.
Puckwudgie.
Our youngest guest.
Yeah, youngest guest ever. Wow.
So I think what we should do is probably go to that, and then we'll return for my thoughts on Chupa. But for now, let's hear what Puckwudgie has to say.
Puckwudgie, it's very nice to have you here doing this with me.
Thank you.
What do you think about the idea of being on a podcast?
I like it.
You do?
Yeah.
Are you a little nervous?
Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah. So you were in a play recently. Is this more nerve-wracking than being on a stage, or less nerve-wracking because nobody can see you?
I think more.
More?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, I'm sure you're going to do great.
Thanks.
So today, can you tell everyone what movie we're going to talk about, Puck?
We're gonna talk about the movie Chupa.
We are going to talk about the movie Chupa. How excited was your mom to watch this movie with you?
Super.
Yeah, I was pretty excited, huh? You want to give me the piece of paper? Because that's rattling around a little bit. You're as bad as your mom making noises into the microphone?
Yes, I am.
That's okay. It's not a problem. It's all right. Byron's really good at editing, like you said earlier. Chupa, and this is for probably more of the adults listening, but Chupa was actually directed by Jonas Cuaron, who is the son of a very, very famous director. Jonas Cuaron. We're supposed to be practicing our Spanish, Puck, but his dad is a very, very famous director, and he made a really cool movie about space, Puck, that you and I will watch someday called Gravity. His dad's name is Alfonso Cuaron, and he's just made a ton of really, really good movies. Roma, his movie, won a bunch of awards a few years ago. They're both Mexican, which is cool because this obviously has a lot to do with Mexico, doesn't it, Puck? Doesn't this movie?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, which is fun, and we'll get into that in a minute. And then some of the actors in it. Do you think the actors did a pretty good job in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah? Who do you think was the best actor in the movie?
The cousin.
Luna? And do you remember what Luna means in Spanish?
Moon.
Oh, well done, Puck. Impressive. Very good. Okay. This is actually the very first movie that she's been in, at least according to her IMDb profile. And I agree. I think she did a really good job. Would you be pretty proud of yourself if that was your first movie that you ever did and you acted that well?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think was so good about her performance in the movie, Puck?
I think that she was up for anything.
Yeah. I mean, there were parts where she was scared. She did a great job, I thought. The boy who came to visit his cousins in the movie, you don't remember what his name was, do you? It was Alex. And what had just happened to Alex in the movie when he went to go visit his cousins in Mexico?
I don't remember.
You don't remember what happened to Alex?
No.
He was pretty sad. Do you remember why he was sad?
No.
Think really hard.
Because his dad passed away just a few months ago.
Very good. I thought you knew. See, there you go. Well done. He's been in a few more things. He actually was in some other scary things. He was in Mr. Robot. He played Elliot as a little kid in Mr. Robot. Someday we'll watch that together, Puck. It's a great show. He was also in Penny Dreadful. It was a season that I didn't see of it, though, so I haven't seen it yet. He was also in Big Sky, which, Puck, was a movie that took place in Montana, believe it or not. Actually, a TV show. Sorry, not a movie, a TV show. But I thought he did a really good job, too. And then what about Alex and Luna and Mimo's grandpa? Did you think he was a pretty good actor?
Yeah, but what I'm sad about it is that he got hurt so many times.
He did, and we'll get to that in a minute. That's a really good point. We should talk about that, I think. The actor who played the grandfather, Demian Bashir, is a very famous actor who has been in so many movies. Let the Right One In, he was in the TV series of that, but oh my goodness. The Alien movies, he was in a bunch of those. He actually played Father Burke in The Nun, which is another one that you haven't seen yet, Puck. Hateful Eight. He's got an incredible resume, and I thought he did a great job. He probably has a connection to the director, because I bet he's known the director for a long time because he's worked with the director's father before. So, okay. And then Christian Slater is the actor that most people know from this movie. Yeah. And do you remember the funny story I told you about Christian Slater when we were watching it?
No.
Yeah, so a long time ago, I don't know, 10 years ago, I was in Washington, D.C. for work, and I was walking into one of the museums. A guy was coming out, and he was a shorter guy, but he had a whole bunch of bodyguards around him, and he held the door for me. He was very nice. That was Christian Slater. He played kind of a sort of good, sort of bad guy in this. We'll talk about that a little bit, but anyhow, I thought he did a pretty good job. So, Puck, can you give everybody a little bit of a rundown of what the movie is about? And remember, we're not doing any spoilers yet. So just do the, kind of what happens in the story. What's it all about?
So, Chupa lost his mom, and the whole movie...
So who's Chupa?
It's the chupacabra.
And what is a chupacabra?
It's this tiny animal that it has a bunch of feathers, and it can fly, but usually takes them a few months to learn how to fly. Okay. And did you know about chupacabras before we watched this movie? Yes.
Yeah? What did you know about them? How did you know about them?
I knew that they could fly.
Okay. What else did you know about them?
That they had feathers and they were cute.
And they were cute? Yeah. What kind of an animal are they?
They're kind of like I don't know what kind of animal they are. They're a chupacabra, but I don't know what species they are.
Well, that's a good point. I don't know if anybody knows what species they are. The way that they were depicted in this movie, they almost look kind of like a cross between a dog and a dragon, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah? Pretty cute, though.
Yeah.
Very fuzzy.
Maybe like a dragon with feathers.
A dragon with feathers. Okay, I like that. Beginning of the movie. Baby Chupa gets separated from his mom, right?
Yeah.
And it's pretty sad. You and your sister, you guys got pretty upset about it, didn't you?
Yes.
You got real mad at me right away that I was showing you this movie. But then I promised it was going to be okay, right?
We know.
Okay. So after Chupa gets separated from his mom, then we meet Alex. And he's going to school.
And he went to Mexico to visit his cousins Luna and Mimo.
That's exactly right. And who else? Where were his cousins staying? This was another important person he was there to visit.
His grandpa.
His grandpa. Yeah, exactly. One of the interesting things I thought that this movie did a great job with was teaching us a little bit about a very cool form of art in Mexico, the luchadores. Now, can you tell everybody a little bit about what the luchadores are?
The luchadores is like a wrestling team.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know if it's a team. I think it's a type of wrestling. Yeah. And tell me a little bit about how that played into this movie.
Alex's grandpa, he was a wrestler, and that's what kind he was.
And was he pretty famous and pretty good?
Yeah, he was really good. But he got hurt wrestling and went in a coma for 3 months, but then he woke up, and it was fun.
Yeah, but he had to be pretty careful because he hurt his head when he did that, so that's why he had to stop being a luchador, right?
Mm-hmm.
but he still had his costume laying around, huh? Mm-hmm. And they all like to play a little bit with those because Mimo really liked to hear all about his grandpa. And then Alex learned more about it and thought that was pretty cool too. They're on this ranch. It was a pretty cool ranch. It wasn't like in the middle of Mexico City. It was more of an area that's kind of familiar to us, like in Montana, but it was in Mexico.
Yeah, kind of like maybe a farm because they had a barn in the back.
They did have a barn in the back. And what happened in that barn? What did Alex find in that barn?
Chupa.
He found Chupa, right, because Chupa was hiding out because he had gotten separated from his mom. I thought they did a pretty cool job of building that relationship between Alex and Chupa and making all the people watching it feel like that was a really important relationship. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's really fun because it's showing you that you don't have to be afraid of every animal that you meet.
It's a good point. You should be cautious, right, and respectful. Yeah. And so then there's kind of a bad guy. Tell me a little bit about the bad guy that's coming in.
So it's kind of like he's trying to steal Chupa. It's like he thinks he's helping him, but he doesn't know it, but it's actually hurting him more.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, at the beginning, this is why Chupa got separated from his mom, right? Because this guy was hunting for chupacabras. Mm-hmm. Try not to touch the mic with your face, you adorable little puppy.
I know.
Okay. This was a doctor, and he had this strange belief that the blood from chupacabras would be able to cure all these diseases, which is interesting. And actually, that's, some misguided beliefs like that have led to other animals getting endangered. Like, you know how white rhinos were endangered?
Yeah.
So some people thought that the tissue from a white rhino's horn, you could grind it into powder and it would cure certain medical situations.
And also, the thing about
harmful.
The thing about
it doesn't though, does it? We got to be clear about that. Got to be careful about misinformation on podcasts.
And the thing about chupacabras are they feast on goat's blood, and that was a bad thing because they had blood. But the grandpa knew about Chupa, but he just didn't let his grandkids know. So that's why he went to get a bunch of goats.
Oh, so that Chupa would have something to snack on?
Yep.
Yeah. I remember your sister was explaining to you that's the circle of life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So things get heated, and this doctor and a bunch of his people are trying to steal Chupa, and Alex and Mimo and Luna are trying to save Chupa. And meanwhile, it's kind of sad because Alex and Mimo and Luna's grandpa is having some memory issues. And he's sometimes he gets lost and he goes on walks and forgets where he is. So that's kind of sad, huh? But
like when he went to get the goats.
But yeah, one time they thought that that's what he's doing, but really he had a very specific purpose. He was just going to get the goats, So the cinematography, Puck, that's probably a word you don't know, but that's what it looks like on the camera. Like it could be what colors the whole background is. Mm-hmm. It could be the types of shots that they film and whether they're close up or far away. I thought the cinematography was really cool, and it was a part of Mexico that I'm certainly not very familiar with, and it was really beautiful, and it was really interesting to see. I liked
a lot. And what I really liked about it is that the characters were amazing, but also the sound effects.
Ooh, the sound effects were good. I agree. Like the noise that they had Chupa make.
Yeah.
Sound effects were good.
Yeah, it was like what a cat makes, except a bit softer.
Yeah, it kind of was. I agree with you. What about the visual effects? Because I don't know if you know this, but there wasn't a real Chupa that they used to film it. They used special effects to create that Chupa.
I know. I really like that about them.
And did you think they did a good job of making it look pretty realistic?
Yeah, it looked like it was actually a real Chupa.
Yeah? Well, I know you were really concerned about letting the audience know a little bit about how the movie ended. And so this is the time where Byron is going to play the music he plays when we do dead giveaways. Is when we spoil the end of a movie. And so if anybody out there is listening and doesn't want to have the rest of the movie spoiled, please don't listen to the next 5 minutes or so, because Puckwudgie is going to tell us exactly what happens for anybody out there who's nervous while they're watching it.
So, Alex, when he visits them, you know how they get separated?
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it made me nervous when that happened.
It's also the thing that made me and my sister go crazy is that, I mean, it's sad that they got separated, but the most saddest part is that his mom got run over, but just hit by a car. She's fine, but
oh yeah, we find
that
out
made us
that
go
she's
crazy.
Fine. Yeah, that was right at the beginning.
And at the end, not at the end, but like in the middle, the person who hit them was their grandpa. The grandpa accidentally hit him, and that's how he knew about the chupacabra.
Which is a pretty cool plot connection, right? That was pretty interesting writing that they did on that, yeah?
Yeah.
At the end, there's a scary part where Alex gets stuck
on a bridge, that's broken,
yeah.
and because he's trying to, because Chupa finds his mom and just across the bridge, so he's trying to bring it back to her.
Yeah.
And he slips. He fell down. Chupa fell with him, but Chupa picked him back up.
Because Chupa finally learned how to do what?
Fly.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, huh? That was a good moment. Mm-hmm. And then, unfortunately, they get back to the top of the cliff, and the bad guy shows up, and he takes Chupa in his truck. Remember that part? And you guys were, you were mad at me. It was really nerve-wracking. We didn't know what was going to happen. But
at the end, Chupa's family came, and they swooped at him.
Yeah, they swooped at the bad guy, the doctor, Christian Slater, in the truck.
They made him drop Chupa, and then the last part is sad because they had to say goodbye.
Alex and Chupa had to say goodbye, right?
Yeah.
But
Chupa found his family.
And then the very last scene. So this is like a dead giveaway.
This is kind of the special part, the very last scene. When Alex is on the plane to fly home, Chupa flies next to his window.
So cool. It was so cool. I really, really liked it. Puck, one of the things that Byron and I like to do in this show is we like to talk about the high point and the low point. So like our favorite part of the movie and our least favorite part of the movie. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. My favorite part of the movie is that Chupa finds his family.
I liked that too.
And my least favorite part is that he's on a hunt to get him.
Who's on a hunt?
The doctor.
Oh, that the doctor was hunting for a chupacabra. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was tough. Yeah. I would say my favorite part of the movie was the way that they mixed in some really cool Mexican culture that a lot of people watching the movie probably don't know about, and I thought that was really neat. I always think it's fun when different people get to watch movies and see themselves represented. And so if you were somebody who was Mexican American or somebody who was Mexican watching this movie, it probably was cool to see a movie that was really about you and your customs and your heritage. And I loved learning about luchadores a little bit. We had a little luchadores book when you guys were little kids, but I didn't know much about them beyond that. So that was pretty fun. And my low point was probably the part where Chupa's mom got hit by the car at the beginning.
Yeah, I like stressful. That. I don't like that too.
Yeah. Okay. Very last part now, Puckwudgie. We have to give Chupa a score. So on a scale of 1 to 10, and then we like to use our own little scoring metrics, so something having to do with the movie. So you'll kind of see what I mean when I give my score. I thought this was a really fun, family-friendly movie. Reminded me a little bit of E.T., but with some really cool Mexican culture and also a chupacabra instead of an alien. Better special effects for sure. We watched E.T. recently, didn't we, Puck?
Yes.
And that was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
But it was nice because it was made newer, so they had better technology.
Yeah, I like it because E.T. and Chupa are two of my favorite movies on the planet, and I think that I like it because they're both so alike, because they're both getting hunted, but then they're both okay on the end, and they both find their family.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah. So I would give Chupa, especially for watching with a family, I would give Chupa 7.7 jumps onto a pile of hay to try to learn how to fly. Yeah, so you can come up with whatever scoring metric you want to.
I like 10.10.
Ooh, 10.0. So that's the best it can get. Are you sure you want to give 10.0? You must have some ways it could have been improved. You really want to give it a 10.0?
Yes.
Okay, 10.0.
10.0 brain tacos.
And that's our review of Chupa, which is on Netflix right now for anybody who wants to watch it.
Yep.
For those of you who have sensitive kiddos, you may want to let them listen to the spoilers so they aren't nervous about it. But it's a pretty fun family movie. Well, Puck, thanks so much for being here. It was really nice to do my first movie review with you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Until next Frightday, where are you going to be?
I'm going to be at home.
Yeah? You're going to be at home? I probably will be too.
With my other family members of the Puckwatchy family.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yeah. Is she taking my place?
She's
better at keeping to a structure.
Yes, that's true. And I am surprised that you were able to, you stepped up producing role
did.
here. You wrote out the structure. I
tried.
Can no longer say that you don't know how the show works.
It was actually interesting being in the position of trying to keep somebody speaking directly into the microphone and not going like this.
It's not easy.
No, she did an incredible job.
Yeah.
It was interesting. She was a little bit nervous, but I thought she did it very well. She even flagged once when I said her name instead of Puckwudgie and immediately told me that I needed to make sure Byron edited that out.
Well,
to protect her anonymity.
Of course.
Yeah, her father especially. I take it seriously. Her father just takes it more seriously.
So you when you came in today, you were surprised that I actually sat down and watched this.
I was.
Why?
Because technically, since I told you that Puck and I had reviewed it, you didn't have to. And so I was surprised that, it's one thing to subject yourself to a PG-13. It was
which we did just get done doing that.
We did.
On Behind the Screams, the bracket style competition to determine the best PG-13 horror film.
But it was really surprising that you subjected yourself to a PG. And part of me wonders, Byron, kids out there listening, it's an important lesson for your adult friendships. Sometimes you got to do things that are hard, that may not be what you want to do first because it's important to your friend. And this week, I rewatched all of the Scream movies.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe you thought that you could watch Chupa since I rewatched all the Scream movies. We kind of helped each other out.
It's only fair.
Yeah, good friendships and whatnot, What did you think about the blue feathers, Byron? I was particularly interested in your thoughts there.
I'm less familiar with Chupacabra lore than you are, so it didn't bother me, but I also was like, that's not a thing, is it?
What's interesting, and we'll get into this on a future episode when we actually talk about chupacabras, but there are two very distinct physical descriptions of chupacabras, as though they're two completely separate animals, and there are histories behind both of them. Neither of them have I heard description of blue feathers. Sure. I have heard description with wings. That's something that has come and gone as part of the description, but I've never heard the blue feathers part.
I wonder what that is exactly. If that's like a reference to a specific regional bird,
or it could be part of the more folklore mythology of it that I'm just not familiar with it. The other thing, and there's one scene where Alex is in a market and he's looking at those really colorful animal carvings. Unfortunately, my first exposure to that was in the movie Coco,
which I still haven't seen.
Oh, Byron.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Part of me was wondering if maybe it had something to do with that. I think those are called, and I hope I don't get this completely wrong, I think those really colorful animal carvings are called alebrijes. They depict animals in very, very bright colors, obviously. So I think maybe the blue feathers could have been a reference to that.
I think that makes sense. You seem to have strong feelings about it, though. Are you okay with them?
Yeah.
Depicting?
Here's the thing. I felt very strongly that this movie was A, supposed to be for kids, and B, was supposed to be pretty culturally specific to Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel pretty well versed to speak whether or not it was appropriate for kids. but I do not have nearly the background to be able to speak whether its depictions were authentic in their reference to both the luchadores culture, the mythology, and perhaps those really cool artistic animal depictions. Certainly, I have no problem with it on its face. I thought that it was a sweet movie that was just the right depth, at least for my kids' age.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard lots of complaints that, the characters weren't, three-dimensional enough, and that we didn't get to explore certain elements, and there wasn't enough, like, ooh and ah over the chupacabra itself. The complaint I've heard about him not having enough of a wow reaction to the chupacabra, I think that's what's so cool about kids. When you're dealing with children, they're so much more willing to believe something extraordinary. It almost goes immediately to like the allegiance and the defending of this magical creature versus trying to believe that it's real, because for kids that whole leap of faith is a lot easier to take.
Yeah, and I mean the theme of standing up for innocence.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I mean our lead is bullied and he doesn't want to see this chupacabra bullied by the government doctor who's trying to come up with a medicine.
Yeah, so he thinks that the chupacabra's blood is going to be this magical cure-all. So,
yeah, but I mean, we don't know if this actually works, though. Is this an anti-science film?
I really think that maybe we should just say even if it does work, it's not worth it. Because chupas are real cute. And
I'll come back next week and give you my thoughts on this.
On that? Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
That might be a better idea.
Oh, boy, oh, boise. Well,
I think Christian kind of got a little bit wasted. He got played a bit too one note in this.
Yeah, I agree. But I think this movie, again, was all about the kids.
Sure.
And it sounds silly, but it would detract for the kids' enjoyment for there to be this really
You don't want to make a complicated villain.
No.
No offense, kiddos.
No, we really don't.
He's got so much range as an actor.
He does. This
so
is
it's hard. But Damien, unbelievable. Do you know him from anything?
Yeah,
For me, it started way back, and I'll get to you. Sorry
I do
to
think
ask
his name is Demian.
Demian, thank you. I appreciate
That's okay.
that.
That's totally fine. Hateful Eight?
TV. 2008. The TV show Weeds.
Oh, and I'm the weirdo that still hasn't watched that.
It was very popular at the time, but I don't think it was a show that a lot of people came back to. But maybe it will.
I should. I like being the weird one.
He played a drug cartel leader, and he was really great. And, we saw him as Father Burke in The Nun.
Yep.
We've definitely talked about him before, but he was always kind of a character actor. And in this, he kind of gets to take a second to shine a bit. And
do you remember Savages? That was a really interesting movie. He was in that as well.
I don't know if I do.
A very weird Oliver Stone one.
Okay.
About essentially like drug dealers in Northern California that got in over their head. College kids that were like, had this revolutionary weed farm and then got in over their head.
This performance, something I've never seen him do before. Just so kind and warm. And a couple weeks ago, we talked about Dave Bautista and how he talks to children like they're people.
Yep.
Same kind of thing.
Oh, he did such a good job. And it was interesting how much my daughters connected with the grandfather role and being worried about the grandfather, recognizing that something sad was happening, but that the grandfather was also helping the kids experience this pretty incredible thing and trying to protect them the best that he could. Anyhow, I thought there were a lot of fun pieces to this.
It's almost like Little Miss Sunshine a little bit. Wasn't the grandpa, something was wrong with him as well? But there's this self-aware thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Comfortable illness, which is good.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Byron, I really am glad you watched this.
Why would I not?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think. I know that we've got coming up Haunted Mansion.
Probably not going to happen.
No, come on. That's a big deal.
I don't know.
What are you talking about? Really?
Pretty wild cast.
Seems
like a lot of fun. I did ride the ride when I was in Disneyland.
Okay, but no, really? I feel like we're going to have to do that one.
Maybe for family-friendly part 2. Who knows? I actually don't know when it's rated. So.
I'm sure it's going to be PG.
I would imagine so.
Maybe 13, but probably PG. Winona Ryder, Jamie Lee Curtis, Danny DeVito, Jared Leto, Owen Wilson, Lakeith Stanfield. So excited for him.
Just so you know, I checked out movieguide.org, which rates them on their objectionable content.
Oh, yeah?
Pretty well scored here. Foul language, only 1 light H obscenity.
Oh, that's funny.
So folks at home, parents who might be concerned about this.
There are some scary parts which Pukwudgie warns the kids about. If you let them listen to the spoilers, they will definitely be less afraid about the trajectory of the film.
It's hard when you're talking about the goat sucker, Like it's a vampire
circle of life
animal. There's puncture wounds, there's blood, but like when he's sucking blood out of the hand wound that our lead Alex has, it's not really anything.
It's not that spooky. It's less spooky than the Dalai Lama,
Yeah.
Weird tongue thing. Yeah.
Too many tranquilizer guns, though.
Yeah, that was very disturbing for...
That was pretty spooky.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you want to hear my high and my low?
I do. I'll make sure Puck hears them as well, because she was excited to give hers.
You can keep this from her. My low is that no one really talks too much about anything.
Kids don't need to talk about things.
All right.
It's
not G, it's PG. A lot of films these days are written for both adults and kids. They give you enough to enjoy both,
Fair.
And I feel like this wasn't written thick enough. The plot points were kind of hit, and that's just about it.
Okay.
My high, though, is this little guy's fun and nice.
Fun and nice.
I came into this not thinking that chupacabras were like feline-like. I always thought that they were just manged dogs, of course.
I mean, yeah.
And for some reason, in this case, we've got ourselves a purring, hissing type animal with blue feathered wings, and that's kind of cool. It reminded me a little bit of that the toothless dragon from How to Train Your Dragon. Another film I haven't seen, just saw the images of it, but
so
kind of reminds me of that. So for all those reasons, lovely CG Damien what did we say? Demian. Just such a kind character. Obviously did a large favor to the director of this film. But it teaches folks a wonderful lesson about believing in yourself, being yourself, to embrace your heritage and your identity. And it talks really gently about healing after loss. And I think that was maybe the thing that they did the best, is some light handling of trauma in a really graceful way. So the pace, however, it's rough, and it really isn't anything that hasn't been done before or better. There's small moments of development that are fun, like in the car or on the roof of the house when they're listening to music and talking about culture. Other moments move on too fast, and I feel like I'm left wanting more.
Puck is going to be real sad to hear your thoughts there.
For all those reasons, I give Chupa 4.1.
Oh, God.
Burnt feathers.
Well, family-friendly listeners out there, just remember that Kelly and Puck thought higher of it.
But I want to know what you at home think. You could reach out to us on social media at Frightday on Twitter and Instagram. Contact@frightday.com is our email address. You could leave a comment below this episode's show notes at frightday.com, or we can have a conversation about it in the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Frightday, or in the Discord server, discord.frightday.com. This is a fun one, Kelly.
It is. I am excited to do another one of these, actually. This was more fun than I anticipated.
No cursing.
No
outwardly sipping on libations.
None of that. I didn't even eat during the episode.
That's wonderful.
Do we want to throw in a fun sound game for the end of it?
Hey, why not?
So I listen to a lot of podcasts with my children, and almost all of them have at least one fun little interactive piece. So I thought it'd be kind of fun for our interactive piece to play 3 different animal noises. One of them is supposedly the sound of a Bigfoot.
Okay.
One of them is supposedly the sound of a chupacabra.
We will be returning to Chupacabra later this year.
We will. And one of them is a sound that I filmed out my own window. And I want you as listeners to try and guess which one is which.
I love it. Play sound number 1. Wow, that is shockingly clear audio.
Yeah, pretty
impressive,
impressive,
like they got whatever that was in a studio, in a sound booth.
It sounded almost like that. Here is sound number 2.
Not a lot of clues there.
And then we've got sound number 3. We'd love to hear sound 1, 2, and 3. Which one is Captain Kelly's own in the field audio of a mystery animal? Which one's supposedly a chupacabra, and which one's supposedly a Bigfoot?
Bigfoot, chupacabra, or mystery animal?
Yeah, from Kelly's own research.
Right. I gotta say, all pretty startling stuff.
Yeah, and
Spooky.
if you tune in next week, I will reveal what the mystery animal was.
Okay, people can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Until next week, though, Kelly, where are you going to be?
You know, I'm going to be doing some research on all sorts of other fun things. I'm going to be watching That Thing You Do with my kids.
Did you hear that fucking story? The story about all those cattle who got their tongues ripped out.
No, I didn't.
6 of them.
What? Where?
It's cattle mutilation time.
Year of the beef. It is the year of the beef.
All right.
Yep.
Sorry, folks.
I hope everybody has a lovely week. And kids, it was great to have you on.
Yeah, I'm sorry for being...
It takes a lot for me not to swear.
I'm a new uncle, so I had to slip in a little bit of uncle behavior at the end.
You are. You got some uncle jokes brewing. You're doing great.
I'm at Byron McKoy on Twitter and Instagram. Byron@Frightday.com is my email address. And until next Frightday. Oh my gosh, we got some great stuff coming up.
We do.
Until then, I'm Byron.
Oh, I'm Kelly. Stay kind to animals, known and unknown.
And stay scared?
A little.
You've been listening to an Audio Wool original, produced by Byron McKoy. Theme music provided by Cemeteries. For more programs like this, visit audiowool.co.